evening and welcome to the FiTT Show. Financial information for today and tomorrow. I'm Bobby Kinzer.
And I'm Thomas Doty.
And we are the FiTT Show, helping our folks get their finances in shape. Dope, I am broadcasting from Florence, Italy. Buongiorno. For the fall.
That sounds French.
Oh, I keep getting it mixed up.
I know. That sounds French to me.
It's 2 a.m. in the morning here, so I'm trying to look alive, man. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm happy to be alive, good brother.
Well, it's good that you are alive. This is Thursday, July 31st. You all, thank everyone for tuning in around the country and around the world. Don't let me tell you, this is one beautiful country. We've been to Milan. We went to Switzerland, which I didn't realize was just 2 hours from Milan. And we were in Venice, and man, it went down the gondola, man, and that was interesting, man. It felt so romantic. And then now we're in Florence, and man, they got some leather goods here, and the prices are inexpensive. And I'm trying to control my wife and daughter. They're loving it. But it's so good to be here before you all. Just want to give a little information here. We are disclaimers that we're not certified financial advisors or qualified advisors. We are financial educators. So we provide you general information. We're not selling any products, but we give you information, the strategies, methods, and techniques that you can possibly use in your portfolio or managing your money. Hopefully, we can give you some tips that you can use. Now, I want you to please click on the like button and the heart button. That gives us extra transmission to more people. That's how it works in the world of Facebook. And we like to make this an interactive show. How we can do that? We're in a virtual studio. Dope is now back home in, I always get it mixed up. He's really in South Carolina, on the border of North Carolina.
Yeah, right next to Charlotte.
Right next to Charlotte. So, but it's a virtual, we're in a virtual studio, but how we can communicate with you is by you putting comments in the comment box. So please make sure you do that. And if you have any opinions of what we're talking about or some topics you'd like for us to do in the future, please put it in the comment box. We would appreciate that. And just want to let you know that full disclaimer, me and Dope get a lot of our information from a lot of financial publications, Yahoo Finance, Kiplinger, Smart News, and everywhere. So, we we try to get relevant, up-to-date, key information that you can use. So just want to give that disclaimer too, that we do use those different formats. And with that, Dope, how's everything in your world? How you doing today?
Man, everything is really good. Everything's good.
Man, that's a good thing to be able to say. That is fantastic.
Especially when you're old.
No lie. No, we got a new viewer. He's been coming on lately, but I just want to let you know, my man Michael Graham, who played with Georgetown and won that wonderful championship in 1984, and he was on
loved it.
And he was on the front of Sports Illustrated. Well, I'm actually co-hosting this show every Tuesday at 7:30, but we're not doing it the Tuesdays that I'm gone, but I'll be back the 13th, and after that we'll be doing the shows. It's the Michael Graham Show. It's on almost every platform. It's on Facebook and YouTube and Yahoo. It's everywhere. So please go out there and check it out, the Michael Graham Show. Thanks for checking in, Mike. Love you, my brother. Looking forward to great shows, great guests. All right, let's get to business, man. Let's start off how we always do. Let's start with the stock market. The past few weeks, you've been giving us some great news, despite today the tariffs supposed to expire by.
It's still creating havoc in the market. A lot of great earnings are coming in. You can see Microsoft stocks up 23 points for the week. I mean, today it was up as high as 42 points just today, but There's just so much uncertainty with the tariffs. There's a big job report coming out tomorrow. The Fed kept interest rates steady. And so it's good news, bad news, but everybody's still a little jittery about what's going to happen. You can see the S&P stayed pretty much flat for the week. NASDAQ's up slightly. But again, Microsoft reported fantastic earnings, and their stock just took off. They're up to 534. They're up 27% this year, which is fantastic. Apple is still getting beat up. It dropped 6 points this week, and their problem continues to be the tariffs and how that's all going to shake out. You know, there's a big push by the current administration for them to build iPhones in the U.S., which would be very, very expensive to do. So their stock is kind of suffering because of those two things, and mainly it's the tariffs. NVIDIA went up 4 points. It continues to shine. It's up 33% for the year. Google finally turned, it's up for the year. It stayed flat for the week. They've had a lot of good news, bad news. Pfizer's down a couple of points. 15% year to date, but it's only a couple of points. Again, that's the stock I hold for the dividend, pays about a 7% dividend. And Palantir continues to go up. That's still my highest performer. It's up 3 points for the week and 108% year to date. So things are going to continue to be shaky until this tariff business gets all sorted out and a little more financial data comes in. The job reports, everybody's anticipating that tomorrow. And Apple also reports after close, I believe it's today. So hopefully things will pick up, but there's just too much uncertainty out there right now. We don't know what effect the tariffs are going to have on inflation. And just got to hang in and see. I'm really happy with Microsoft that continues to go up and make me a lot of money. And well, I guess I ain't really making a lot of money because I haven't sold anything. I'm afraid to sell because I'm sitting on the big capital gains. I got in Microsoft, some of it at 234. And so it's up over double for what I got in. And
so you go ahead and pay those taxes so we can,
I'm just laying low. Just laying low. If I had something I needed the money, for, I would probably sell it, but I truly don't. So I'm just gonna let it ride.
Well, by you paying those taxes, man, you can help us pay down the federal debt. You might can put it in the federal debt, man.
You're gonna make me say a bad word on the air.
I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that.
How's all your Bitcoin going?
Bitcoin is doing pretty well, actually. It's holding. It's not. Hasn't been really taken off. Haven't been losing that much. It's been steady actually, and let's go right to it then. And so it's down about 2%, which is not much. It's down $1,991 in Bitcoin, but it's still at a high of $116,000 Bitcoin. So
that's just crazy. Remember we were talking about this? It was like 16,000 or something. It was crazy low.
It was 16,000, man, about 2 years ago, year and a half ago, though, right. At least. And look at it now, because like I said, my portfolio I think it's up about 170%. My Bitcoin, Ethereum, the stable coin, is at it's less than 1%. So it's up just $16. But the Federal Reserve, which is planning on, not the Federal Reserve, Trump just signed a bill, the Genius Act, which will help stable coins and giving it some regulatory backing and trying to give people, if they invest in it and to lose their money, is trying to make them the first creditor to make it more attractive. So look at the government starting to make some moves on some cryptocurrency. And the first one is stable coins. And Ethereum is one of the stable coins not Ethereum. Tether is one of the stable coins that are out there, which is backed by the dollar. So keep an eye on those administrative changes. They get behind it, and banks is not fully, but you can hold cryptocurrency and what they call the dope when you not escrow at banks. Oh God, custodian accounts. Excuse me.
Yeah. Okay.
But they're not backing or insuring cryptocurrency. So just remember, like we say, it's the most speculative investment out there. Well, it's one of the speculative. There's some even more speculative than this, but it's highly speculative. And remember the theme, the theory, the strategy is only invest money that you're willing to lose. And I used to struggle with saying that dope, but I'm looking at all the financial advisors. That's what they say.
Yeah, but I mean, and you say, it has to be something very risky to lose all your money. So there's a chance you'll lose part of it, but to use all of it, that's pretty rare. I've never invested in anything and it went to zero. Never. I've been invested in things that have gone down in value, but never to zero. So you won't lose all your money. But there's a chance your money could go down, your value could go down, and it could be, and that's why you don't want to invest money that you may need, because you may have to pull it out at a time when its value might be low. So I think what you're trying to say is you don't want to invest that with your money you use to pay your mortgage or to pay for college or to pay something that you need, because it could go down in value. It very well could. When you look at it, we talked about it when it was 16,000. I think it might have been up to 70, 80,000 before that. So, and if you had it at 80,000 and it dropped to 16, that's a pretty big drop in value.
Yeah, yes it is. But I'll make that statement again. Only invest money that you're willing to lose.
I hear you.
So with that note, let's talk about today's show, man.
Well, before we get started, I just want to give you a big shout out, brother. I appreciate you doing this, and y'all, you got to remember, we started this because we just wanted to share knowledge. We both have been very, very lucky in this market. We both have been successful in what we've done in our lives, but so we get nothing out of doing this other than the satisfaction of trying to help some folks, and for you to be up at 2:00 at night and still doing the do. I appreciate you, brother. I truly do.
I accept that too, man, because like I said, we don't get paid for this,
right?
And we're not trying to sell products either, So, but I appreciate it though, because this is the concern and how much we just want to help people, man. That's really where our heart and our mind is, you all, because we just never been privy to this kind of information. So, dope, back at you, man. I want to thank you too, man, because this is 4 years straight.
Yeah,
we've been doing this every week, man. So, yeah, let's keep it going, dope, and we hope y'all tell more people. Help us out by telling more people, you all, because we need to know this information, right? So,
right.
But go. We got an interesting topic today, man. The last week was FOGI, fear of getting in. We talked about FOMO, fear of missing out, which a lot of people struggle with that. But then when the market goes down, when the market goes up, people get FOMO. And when the market go down, people get FOGI. But now we want to talk about people's money. People, when people can start losing money and getting in, dire straits with their finances.
Yeah, and we always talk about the value of time and how time value of money should help you accumulate wealth. And if you start early, you should accumulate a whole lot. But what's really crazy is that they actually have data that says 40% of retirees run out of money in retirement.
Whoa.
And that's a crazy number. And so if you look at households between 35 and 64, 40% of those are expected to run out of money in retirement. And so what we're going to talk about in this show is some of the reasons that happen, and hopefully you can avoid some of the pitfalls that other people that 40% have run into. And so you won't be part of that statistics. So by the end, when we finish this, hopefully you will have a clearer picture of all the challenges you're going to face, and you'll be able to navigate through them successfully.
Now, running out of money can be a very stressful experience, whether you're watching your savings dwindle or over time, or find yourself running out of money before your next paycheck comes in. The worry that you won't be able to cover your expenses and financial obligations, trust me, it's a real problem for many people these days, especially with the economy, the scare of tariffs, people overspending. Now, if you recognize the signs that you're running out of money, the key is to take action. You can take action. It's never too late. I don't care how old you are, where you are with your job trajectory, and the first step is to understand what's causing your funds to dry up. Then you can implement strategies to help regain, the balance and work towards greater financial stability. So won't you kick it off?
Okay, the first reason people run out of money, and it's one of the primary reasons, is you don't have enough saved. That's kind of Captain Obvious. A lot of people underestimate how much they'll need to maintain their lifestyle throughout retirement. And so the gap between the average savings and recommended savings is shocking. Financial experts a lot of times will suggest you should have 10 to 12 times your annual salary saved by retirement age. So what that means is if you make 100,000, you ought to have $1 million, $1 million to $1.2 million saved by the time you retire. And a lot of the studies say people only have an average of about 85,000 saved, which is a fraction of what you'll need. So in order to avoid this pitfall, it's crucial to start as soon as you can and save aggressively. And by that, especially if you're just starting off in the workplace, that's the best time to put a hunk of money away, because you won't miss it. It's hard to go the other way from having it in your pocket or in your bank account to cutting a piece of that off and then saving it, versus as soon as you start, take it away from you and you won't miss it. And so the other thing you should try to do is try to increase your savings rate every year. Every time you get a raise, even though the raises might only be 3 to 4%, take 1% every year and increase it. You won't notice it, and it'll help you get there a lot sooner. Now, and the one caveat, and I hope this isn't me talking on both sides of my face, but you want to save as aggressively as you can, but at the same time, you don't want to deny yourself the things that you need to keep going. You don't want to just be working to save. So you have to find that happy medium of saving aggressively, but not making your life miserable. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, another reason why people run out of money is budgeting blunders, right? Now, this is the importance of financial discipline. We talk about budgeting all the time. Creating and sticking to a budget is essential, yet many people fail to do it so effectively. Now, without a clear understanding of your monthly income expenses, it's easy to overspend and deplete your savings faster than anticipated. Now, common budgeting mistakes include underestimating regular expenses, failing to account for irregular costs, and not adjusting spending habits to match your income. Now, to create an adequate budget, start by categorizing your expenses into fixed, like housing and utilities, and variable, which is like entertainment and travel. Be realistic about your spending habits and consider potential lifestyle changes, because that can also eat up a lot of your money. It's also wise to build a buffer to unexpected expenses. Review and adjust your budget regularly, especially if you're in the early stages of retirement, to ensure you're on track. Now remember, financial discipline doesn't mean you can't enjoy your life. It simply means making informed decisions to ensure your money lasts.
Yeah, and the next one, this one, it is a surprise, but it really shouldn't be. And that's underestimating your medical costs in your later years. And Fidelity says the average 65-year-old couple retiring in 2022 can expect to spend $315,000 on health care throughout their retirement. Wow. And that figure is going to continue to rise. And so a lot of people underestimate that. And then if you throw in inflation, if you happen to need long-term care, it can get even crazier. And the best summary of that is the three things that go when you get old are your eyes, your ears, and your teeth. Okay. And Medicare doesn't cover either of those three. So you gotta plan to spend money on those things. But the best advice I can give you is to take care of yourself while you're younger, because that's going to make a huge difference. Think about that old Mickey Mantle saying, if I knew I was going to live this long, I would have took better care of myself. Well, it's really important because there's a cost to that as you get old of not having taken care of yourself. And that cost is in the way of medical costs. And so if you're eligible, open up a health savings account. That's going to help you out. And that offers a huge tax advantage. And it can be an excellent way to save for certain medical expenses. And long-term care, that's another option. That one's a little tricky, and we'll probably have to do a whole show on that one, because that's one where they really have you over a barrel. They can cut your benefits with long-term care and raise your premiums whenever they feel like it. So that one is, like I said, we'll talk about that. But prepare to spend a lot of money on your medical costs as you get older, just because you're getting older.
Hey, Doug, you know what the silent wealth eroder is?
What's that?
Inflation.
Yeah.
Inflation is often overlooked in financial planning, but impact can be devastating. Even a modest 3% annual inflation rate can cut the purchasing power of your savings in half over 24 years. Let me say that again. Even a 3% inflation rate can cut the purchasing power of your savings in half over 24 years. This means that this means that what seems like a comfortable nest egg today may not stretch early or nearly as far in the future. Now consider incorporating investments that have historically outpaced inflation into your portfolio, such as stocks or real estate, investment trusts, REITs. We talked about that. The common combat inflation is treasury tips, which is called treasury inflation protected securities. And they can also provide a hedge against inflation. They're like treasuries. But they, like I said, they're inflation protectors. Now, when planning your budget, factor in an annual expense increase to account for rising costs, especially with the tariff issues looming. Prices could potentially, or I think they say they're definitely going to go up. And regularly review and adjust your investment strategy to keep your portfolio on pace with inflation.
The next one, and this one is a good news, bad news, is that people are living a lot longer. And that's a challenge, because if you live longer, you got to have money to cover those extra years. And everybody wants to live longer, but there's a cost to that if you have to pay in retirement. So many retirees don't adequately plan to live into their 90s or beyond. And that's going to lead you to the risk of outliving your money. So if you can, try to consider strategies that provide guaranteed income throughout your lifetime to address longevity risks, such as annuities. You can also delay your Social Security, even though I'm not an advocate of that, because that can also increase your monthly payment. And as I mentioned before, the most important thing you can do is stay physically and mentally active to reduce your healthcare costs. And you can also maintain the ability to work part-time if you need to. So retirement planning isn't just about retiring. It's also about ensuring you have financial security throughout your entire retirement, no matter how long it lasts.
That brings me to the Social Security trap. That's over-reliance on government benefits. Now, many people are depending heavily on Social Security benefits, which may not be sufficient to cover all their expenses. Joe, the average monthly Social Security benefit in 2023 was $1,827 a month. Hardly enough for most people to live comfortable. Moreover, concerns about Social Security future solvency add uncertainty to retirement planning also. Now, while Social Security should be a part of your planning, it shouldn't be the only part. Maximize your benefits by understanding the best time to claim based on your circumstance, not nobody else's. For many, delaying benefits until age 70 can result in a significantly higher monthly payment. Now, most importantly, use Social Security as a supplement to your retirement savings, not your primary income source.
Yeah, and the next one, this is this one is obviously hard to plan for, but that's those unexpected things that truly can derail your financial plans. I mean, you can have an unexpected life event that can profoundly affect your retirement finances. And divorce is a big one. And a lot of people don't understand this, but I'm going to try to explain this real quickly. Let me know if this makes sense, Bob. So when you're married, you pay at a lower tax rate, okay? Your spouse dies, then you jump into the single bracket, which you pay a higher tax rate. So let's just say you and your wife are getting Social Security and one of you die, which is really crazy because you got to pay that last month Social Security payment back because they pay it a month in advance. But that's a whole nother story. But your tax rate, you go from filing married to filing single. So you have less money because you don't have your wife's income anymore or a Social Security check. And your tax rate is a lot higher. So just be aware of that. And so another thing that can hit you is a significant health issue, which can also drain your money. And both of those events, divorce or getting real sick, can lead to increased expenses, reduced income, making it very challenging to maintain economic stability. So you don't get old and forget about the old emergency fund because you may need it. It may become necessary. And just remember, if you or your spouse, the surviving spouse, remember to take into account the tax effect because your tax are definitely going to change when you go from the married bracket to the single bracket. So the other thing you can do is review and update your estate plan regularly. Make sure you got your beneficiary designations accurate. Keep your insurance policies up to date. And nobody can predict everything that's going to happen. Nobody knows the future, but try to have contingency plans for things that may happen to keep your retirement finances from being derailed.
Next, though, I want to talk about financial planning pitfalls, the cost of poor investment choices. Poor financial planning and lack of professional advice can lead to suboptimal investment choices and inadequate savings. Now, common mistakes include having an overly conservative portfolio that doesn't keep pace with inflation, failing to rebalance regularly, or not understanding the impact of fees on long-term returns. Now, consider seeking professional advice to help navigate the complexities of planning for retirement. A financial advisor can help you create a diversified portfolio that balances growth potential with taking in mind risk management. Now, they can also help you understand to minimize investment fees, which can significantly, we talk about this a lot, expense fees, can impact your long-term returns. Remember, the cost of sound financial advice often pays for itself many times over in improved investment outcomes.
And the next one, this is kind of a tricky one too, because it can start off with very good intentions, but it can end up causing you great harm down the road. And that's generosity to your family. And a lot of older people provide some financial support to adult children or grandchildren, which constrain their resources. And we talked about before in one of our prior shows about how you shouldn't use your retirement money to fund your kids' college or your grandkids' college, because they can recover from that. You don't have much time to recover if you're already retired or close to retirement. And so even though you can have a desire to help your family, make sure you keep your economic security intact, because you're going to need it. You don't want to end up being a financial burden to those same people who you can't help out, because that would drain you. So try to set clear financial boundaries with family members and communicate openly about your ability to provide support, and make sure you prioritize your savings, okay? And try to find alternative ways to help the kids and grandkids, such as giving them non-financial assistance, or helping them develop their own financial skills, or helping them figure out on their own how to increase their own financial resources. So securing your financial future, that's not selfish. It ensures you won't become a burden to somebody else later on in life.
So you know what else can make people run out of money? Protecting your nest egg from predators. I'm talking about scams and fraud. Now, scammers often target older people due to their presumed wealth and sometimes decreased cognitive abilities. Now, falling victim to a fraud can result in significant financial losses that are difficult to recover from. So be aware. Stay informed about the common scams targeting older people, such as investment fraud, Medicare scams, phishing attempts. Be skeptical of unsolicited offers and high-pressure sales tactics. Never give out your personal information over the phone or email unless you initiate the contact. Now, if you suspect fraud, report it immediately to the relevant authorities. Consider involving trusted family members in major decisions, especially financial decisions, as an extra layer of protection.
Okay, the other one, this is one I'm sure a lot of people do, and that's the big splurge. And a lot of people think, okay, I'm retired, I'm going to do all the things I've put out. You want to indulge. It might be travel. It might be buying that vacation home. It might be that expensive hobby that you passed on. And those things can quickly deplete your funds if you don't plan to make those happen. So if you want to do something like that, make sure you put money away and you have that separate from your long-term financial well-being, okay? So look for ways to fulfill those dreams economically, such as traveling in the off-season, renting a vacation home instead of buying one. So the goal is to enjoy life while ensuring your money lasts. It's about finding the right balance between living for today and planning for tomorrow. And that is a difficult one.
Yeah, that's a big one too. So, Joe, let's bring this home. Running out of money is a real risk, but it's not inevitable. Understanding these surprising factors and taking proactive steps can address them and can significantly improve your chances of a secure, enjoyable life. Now start reviewing your current financial plan and making necessary adjustments. Seek professional advice if needed. And remember that it's never too late. I'm talking to your older folks, over 55, over 65. It's never too late to improve your financial situation. With careful planning, discipline, and awareness, you can look forward to a financially secure and truly golden lifestyle. That's the good news. So, though we talked about a lot, it's getting late, so let's go right to the summary and the takeaways, because I'm falling short.
You're fading, brother, but you're doing great, my brother. Well, and the first one is, again, we always talk. Bob and I always joke about Captain Obvious, and make sure you save enough. Okay, start early, increase it, and be aggressive in your savings. You won't miss it if it doesn't get in your pocket.
Next one is try to prepare for the unexpected. And I mean, that's a big one. You know what I mean? The unexpected could be Social Security cut in Social Security, lifestyle creep, which is all considered lifestyle inflation, meaning that you know the standard of living things that you were paying for started to increase, but you're still making those luxury items you've been spending on a necessity. So that prepare for the unexpected.
And the next one is not a simple one, and that's have an investment strategy. Okay, and that encompasses a lot of different things. First of all, you have to understand your risk. You have to understand how much risk you're willing to take. We often joke about no risk it, no biscuit, but you have to take some risk if you want to have a higher return. Okay, you have to have goals. To not have goals, you're just wandering aimlessly. You have to have goals that you're working towards, that you review, that you make every effort to try to achieve. That's all part of your investment strategy. You have to understand if you need help, you have to find somebody to help you with your investment strategy. And whether that's setting your goals, whether that's rebalancing, whether that's diversifying, whether that's asset allocation, those are things you have to understand. And then you throw into that taxes and then all the other uncertainties. Those are the first things are things you can control, but the uncertainties you have no control over. But you can control things like understanding your risk, having a plan, having goals, having help if you need it, and then moving forward. And the crazy part about building wealth is you have to make sure you preserve your wealth. And that's things like having insurance to make sure you're covered if a catastrophe happens. That includes an estate plan to make sure when you die, that your assets pass as you would wish. And so all those things are part of your investment strategy that you have to have if you plan on building wealth, maintaining wealth, and then passing your wealth on.
So it's actually 3 takeaways that we just gave you. And there's several other things that you can possibly do. But actually, these 3 things is all you really need to do to keep from running out of money, the moolah. It's just, simple as that. Save, prepare, and the third one was, though,
The investment strategy.
phew, thank you very much. I'm running on fumes.
You're doing great, brother. You're doing great.
I did. Yes, and investment strategies. Those 3. There's several other things, but actually, that's all the main things you need to really do. So with that, man, we've got a lot of people staying with us. For me, it's almost 3 in the morning, but I want to give my shout outs like we always do. Garnett, you're a stalwart. You're always there with us, dear. Thank you. Michael Graham, thank you, brother, for tuning in another week. Appreciate you. My wonderful sister, Nolia, and my wonderful sister, Linda. I don't know where Gloria. Gloria must fell asleep. Thank you all for checking in. And my good brother, Carl Chapman, ex-fireman extraordinaire. Appreciate you. And the wonderful Now, Dodie. Thank you, Now. Appreciate you. Rodney L. Madison Sr. I hope y'all caught that show, The Note Experience, that we did about another investment tool as far as holding. My sister Gloria trying to call me on the phone. She don't know I'm still here. Oh, I'm sorry. I see what you're doing, Gloria. I see. I'm sorry. Gloria is online, though. She's calling me to tell me she's online. I see you, Glo. My bad. Thank you for correcting me, my dear. And Debbie Doty, what's up, girl? Appreciate
DD, what's happening?
DD. And can't leave out our wonderful friend, though, Modestine Johnson, down there in Lexington, South Carolina. glad everybody tuned in another week. Thank you so much. We'll be here next week. Next week, I'll probably be on a cruise. I know I'll be either in Greece, Turkey, or Naples. So I'll be seeing you in one of those places from the cruise ship Royal Caribbean Odyssey. Fantastic ship, by the way, Dope. So, Dope, can't leave without giving you the quote of the week, my man. And this is pretty deep, y'all, because really listen to this. We shouldn't do things so we can be happy. We should be happy so we can do things. Let me say that again. We shouldn't do things so we can be happy. We should be happy so we can do things. In other words, don't let things bring you happiness. Don't temporarily think. They call means things, not the end, like, going on a trip or, don't let things be the determinant of your happiness. How about you being happy and then do the things, that are happy. I love that.
That makes a lot of sense because things are usually temporary.
Yeah. And if you rely on those things to bring you happiness, guess what? You're going to end up short. So seek happiness first. And one last statement on that, though, because I looked this up, man. They showed that being happy and being positive have been way more productive. And they've done studies, and being sad and negative is so counterproductive. It takes energy from you. So that's why I'm saying, you all, don't underestimate the power of being happy, and what brings also happiness is gratitude. So with that, y'all, love you. See you next week. Thanks for tuning in, everybody around the country and around the world. My brother Dope, another good job. And we'll see you next week, my folks. Peace.